Rotterdam Harbor, occupied Netherlands, March 1944. A German dock supervisor watches workers unload supply crates from a freighter. One crate catches his eye. Heavy, wooden, stenciled machine parts in German. Perfectly legitimate. He waves it through without inspection. The crate sits in a warehouse for 2 days. Workers move around it. Guards patrol past it. A German quartermaster even rests against it during his lunch break. Nobody suspects anything. It looks exactly like every other supply crate. Rough-hewn timber, iron straps, official German shipping markings. On the third night, at precisely 2 a.m., the warehouse erupts. 3 simultaneous blasts tear through the building's steel supports. The roof collapses. Stored ammunition cooks off in secondary explosions, lighting the Rotterdam skyline for miles. By dawn, the warehouse is completely destroyed, along with 6 months of critical supplies. The Gestapo investigation finds nothing useful. No forced entry, no witnesses. Security logs show no unauthorized access, just fragments of wooden crating scattered across smoldering wreckage. It takes investigators 3 weeks to realize the explosion originated from inside a supply crate, a crate that passed through multiple German checkpoints, been handled by German workers, and sat undetected in a guarded warehouse for 48 hours before destroying everything around it. Station 9 called these devices supply crate mines. The Germans called them Todesfallen, death traps. By 1943, German supply logistics in occupied Europe had become an elaborate security operation. Every shipment was inspected, every vehicle searched, every worker vetted. The SOE's ability to plant conventional explosive devices near critical infrastructure had been severely compromised. Resistance fighters couldn't get close enough to fuel depots, ammunition stores, or railway hubs without being detected. Station 9 needed a different approach. Instead of smuggling explosives into secured facilities, what if a weapon could enter those facilities legitimately, inside the supply chain itself? What if a weapon could travel through German checkpoints, pass multiple inspections, enter the most heavily guarded warehouses, and detonate days later when saboteurs were safely miles away? The engineering challenge was enormous. A crate had to look, weigh, and behave exactly like genuine supplies while containing enough explosive to cause catastrophic damage. The timing mechanism had to survive rough handling, temperature changes, and vibration without accidental activation. And it had to be manufactured quickly enough to keep pace with operational demands. But how exactly do you hide a bomb inside something as ordinary as a wooden crate? The answer would shock even the most experienced German security officers. The crate bomb's exterior was indistinguishable from genuine military supply crates. Station 9 obtained actual Wehrmacht crates through resistance networks and analyzed every detail: timber thickness, iron strap specifications, nail patterns, official stenciling styles, even the characteristic smell of pine resin used in German military woodworking. The explosive payload was distributed throughout the crate's structure rather than concentrated in one location. Sheets of plastic explosive were laminated between timber panels, invisible to anyone examining the crate's interior or exterior. The base contained approximately 8 pounds of explosive, while side panels contained additional charges, totaling 12 pounds overall. This distribution maintained authentic weight that felt natural when handled and ensured an omnidirectional blast, maximizing structural damage. The timing mechanism was Station 9's greatest engineering achievement. They developed a clockwork device powered by a compressed spring that could run reliably for up to 96 hours, 4 full days. The mechanism was sealed in a waterproof brass housing mounted inside a false bottom. Vibration dampeners protected the clockwork during transport. Temperature compensation mechanisms ensured accuracy across varying European conditions. You won't believe how the timing mechanism was activated. A concealed cord ran through one of the exterior iron straps. When a resistance member pulled this cord during loading, it released a locked gear in the clockwork, beginning the countdown. The cord detached cleanly, leaving no visible evidence of tampering. From that moment, the mechanism ran silently until the firing pin struck the percussion cap, triggering detonation. Weight calibration was critical. German quartermasters would notice if a crate of machine parts felt unexpectedly light or heavy. Station 9 filled remaining interior space with genuine materials matching stated contents until total weight matched standard Wehrmacht specifications exactly. The Rotterdam incident was the most catastrophic single deployment, but it wasn't isolated. In occupied France, a crate bomb introduced into a Luftwaffe fuel depot supply chain detonated outside Paris, destroying over 40,000 gallons of aviation fuel. The explosion grounded German air operations in the region for 3 weeks during a critical period of Allied bombing campaigns. In Belgium, resistance fighters introduced 2 crate bombs into ammunition supply shipments heading to German artillery units. Both detonated within hours of each other, destroying an entire ammunition storage complex. Simultaneous explosions convinced German investigators they were facing conventional sabotage rather than supply infiltration, sending investigations in completely wrong directions. Norwegian resistance used crate bombs against German naval supply facilities in Bergen. A crate stenciled as torpedo components entered the naval base through official channels and detonated in a maintenance facility, destroying irreplaceable precision equipment. German naval operations were disrupted for 2 months while replacement equipment was sourced from Germany. The psychological impact was profound. German supply officers who'd previously felt confident in their inspection procedures realized those procedures were fundamentally inadequate against weapons that genuinely looked like legitimate supplies. No visual inspection could detect explosive laminated between timber panels. No weight check would reveal carefully calibrated crates. The Germans were facing a threat their security procedures simply couldn't address. Little did they know, their own rigorous supply logistics were being systematically turned against them. German countermeasures were extensive but costly. They implemented X-ray screening at major supply depots, but this was slow, expensive, and only available at large facilities. Smaller depots remained vulnerable. They increased physical inspection intensity, having workers disassemble suspicious crates, but this damaged genuine supplies and created enormous logistical delays. The crate bomb had genuine limitations. Timing mechanism failures, while rare, could cause premature detonation during transport, potentially killing resistance members involved in delivery. The clockwork mechanisms were sensitive to extreme cold, occasionally running slower than calibrated in Norwegian winters. And extensive coordination required to infiltrate weapons into supply chains meant compromised resistance networks couldn't safely use them without risking immediate German discovery. Production complexity limited deployment frequency. Each crate bomb represented approximately 20 hours of skilled labor. Station 9 produced approximately 80 throughout 1943 and 1944, perhaps 3 per month on average. Far fewer than the SOE would have preferred, but each one carefully targeted against maximum value objectives. The crate bomb was Station 9's masterstroke of supply chain warfare, a weapon that defeated German security not by being cleverer than their inspection procedures, but by being completely invisible to them. It didn't try to sneak past German checkpoints, it walked through them openly, carried by German workers, waved through by German inspectors, stored by German quartermasters, then destroyed everything they'd worked to protect. These timed death traps remind us that the most effective sabotage doesn't fight security systems, it exploits them. Station 9 understood that Germany's own logistical efficiency could be turned against them. The more organized the enemy becomes, the more predictable they become. And predictability, in the hands of creative engineers and brave resistance fighters, becomes vulnerability. For more secret weapons from Britain's Shadow War, subscribe to World War II Weapons now.